Quick opinions and fun times.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Just after 11 o'clock, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on The Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com, only available in Leduc. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, young Connor along for the ride here as we roll through this Thursday. The week has just flown by here in the city. We got NFL football tonight, CFL football tonight, Blue Jays baseball coming up in about 9 minutes' time. Golf in the city gets going today. Runs through the weekend. The ladies having at it down. What's the course? I should know this. Right beside Horlock.
Royal Mayfair?
The Royal Mayfair. See, I wouldn't know because I'm not allowed in there. My type, not good enough to get into there, but it should be a good event in our city over the weekend. And of course, Friday night, you got the Elks taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who will be making their way to Edmonton, I would think, later today, potentially even right now. You can always reach us, 1-833-401-1440. Email me, Connor at sports1440.ca. Josh at sports1440.ca. Donnie, we won't give out your Gmail. I don't think you want people just
I definitely don't want
signing you up for
more stuff
and...
in my Gmail.
How was the morning show today?
The morning show was a blast, honestly. We had a great time here.
You guys get heated?
We did get heated.
I felt the heat when I was driving in today listening to In or Out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Yes, I today was a fun one because there was a couple topics that I wanted to touch on just for to get, the fellas, like, do the Oilers have a chance to win the West? I think they could win their division pretty easily. For sure. That I'd bet on that is going to be one of my sports bets.
You can do it at playalberta.ca. Boosted odds.
Yes, boosted odds on Play Alberta. We're going to be doing that for sure. But can they actually win the West? It's a topic. Like I think there's a world where they can. I think it would be tough, but I think there's actually a chance. Things would need to go right, but can they? And then you jump into that GM's or the front office's poll, and there's a lot of bad front offices that are ahead of the Oilers. I don't like. I'm gonna die on that hill. There are some pretty pathetic front offices in front of them.
I mean, I kind of have the two trains of thought, and it's like, well, they've been to 2 of the last 3 Stanley Cup finals.
Exactly.
Was it the previous regime? Maybe. The next train of thought would be, you have McDavid and Draisaitl. You should have a Stanley Cup by now. So I kind of see it from both ways. I would lean to, nothing's guaranteed in sport. Just because you have star players doesn't mean you automatically win. There's multiple examples of that in the sporting world, and they've had a pretty good run, but haven't got the Lord Stanley yet. Today, in case you missed it, just a few news and notes. The Edmonton Elks releasing their depth chart. Going to have Cordell Jackson playing the Sam linebacker spot. Therese Reed dropping to halfback. So a little bit of a change. Other than that, though, I don't think any changes for the Edmonton Elks roster. Along the defensive line, still looking like a pretty good group. The offensive line, got Bordner, O'Donnell, Beard, Boyko, and Murray. Receivers going to be staying the same as well. So when the Elks get ready to take on the Bombers tomorrow night, things, mostly the same. Donnie, you going to get out to that game? Oh, no. Wait, you could because you're going to Canmore Saturday morning,
Yes,
right?
I am going Saturday morning.
So you're going to go to the Elks game tomorrow night? Carpool?
Yeah. Hey, I'm down to carpool. We're going to be... Actually, no, I can't. Sorry. I just remembered. My parents are taking me out for my birthday dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I will not be doing that.
What? No free plugs, but is there like a type of food you're going to go for? Steak
Italian.
Night? Italian?
It's downtown.
Okay.
If you know of an Italian restaurant downtown, feel free to make your guesses. But no free plugs. Love the restaurant. I don't know how the hell I forgot about that, but it's been a long morning.
Olive Garden.
Definitely.
When you're there, your family.
Yeah. Birthday Olive Garden. Nothing's better.
Big fan.
And then we proceed to give up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a chain, I'm I'm just hoping they come drop off some pasta for us, maybe some breadsticks.
Hey, they are close by.
I saw MTR's text. Donovan's the next hot take guy. Donovan A. Paulson.
No.
What's your middle name?
Wayne.
Initial W.
W.
That doesn't sound as good as
It does
A.
not.
Smith.
No, it does. It definitely does not. I just see, like, I like to take in or out in terms of being a team player and getting the fellas to a certain direction, because that's where sports talk radio is the most fun. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, it can
Now,
evoke emotion.
little peek behind the curtain. Does everybody always 100% believe their thing? Not necessarily, but you're going to be the devil's advocate. Somebody has to be.
Don't expose these truths. You're going to take us down.
No, well, I believe what I said today. Do I think the Oilers are going to have a tough time winning the West? Yeah, but I think the Pacific is so weak that there's a chance.
The West could, the Central could just beat up on each other, right?
Absolutely.
They'll go
And
500
I
against
think
each other.
all those three Central teams got worse. And I think the Mammoth got substantially better.
Yeah.
I think the Mammoth are going to finish second in that division. I think that highly of that roster. I don't think enough people give that team enough respect.
I think that's fair. Just quickly, Jay and Victoria was out in Edmonton, made the stop at Wilhock. He said the Wilhock beef jerky came in clutch on the drive back. Absolutely. Jen X Jeff, I was just talking to Small Great Danny Bass this morning. Tried to convince him to get a hold of you guys, but he's got 1,000 stories to tell. Yeah, well, man, we'd love to have him on the show for sure. Now, why don't we get into 3 rounds with Josh Fenwick? You good for that, Donnie?
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
Round 1.
All right, Donnie, you're gonna have to get something queued up here from the old email I sent you
Yeah.
on the computer, because I want you guys to tell me what you think the better highlight call is. Damian Lillard's series winner from 2013 over the Houston Rockets, or the block by LeBron James in the 2016 NBA Finals.
Who's going first today, Donnie?
I went first yesterday.
Oh, so I get to do it?
I think. Yes.
Okay. Well, when you hear the calls, it's kind of an interesting one, because one call is clearly better. Like, to me, it's as a call, it's not even close. But I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to take the block, because there's something kind of good about it. The call wasn't amazing. It didn't have a voice crack. It didn't have screams, but it was quiet. It was in the bay. It was the block with a minute and a half left. LeBron James tracing down, was it Draymond or Iguodala?
Andre
It was
Iguodala.
Iguodala. And the game was tied at 89 at the time. And there was just kind of that eerie quietness in a stadium, like, oh, what just happened? LeBron just made an all-time play. The Golden State Warriors didn't score a basket after that in the final 90 seconds. It was all Warriors. So we'll play the call for you. You can hear it. Like I said, it's not my standard pick for great calls, but the moment for me makes it so much better.
You're going block.
So I'm going with the block.
Block?
We'll
Okay.
play the block
We'll
now.
play the block. That one's it's so iconic.
Like it's the moment for me is what takes it over the top. Now, you could argue, you guys are going to hear the other call. It's by my previous standards with like the scream, the crowd, the voice crack. I don't think his voice cracks, but I'm going to lean with LeBron here just because that moment was crazy. And to do it in that atmosphere for a team that was so damn good in the Warriors, I love it.
We'll let you, the audience, hear the other one as well, just so you can play along here.
Foul to give for Houston. 9/10 left. A 3 wins the series. It's Lillard. He got the shot. The series for the first time in 14 years.
That one is the winner. It's just the better call. It's just straight up the truth. I think the LeBron James call is so iconic, and hell, it even got turned into a meme. That's how iconic it was. But I think as a pure sports call, I got to lean that the Lillard 3.
Yeah.
And the time of game.
Wow, it was first round.
It's a buzzer beater.
Now,
Wins you the game.
We have to get, at some point, maybe in the final segment, the Cavs radio call of the block by LeBron, because I bet that would be a little bit more electric, not trying to be as impartial. You're right, though. The better call is clear. But for me, just the moment, I love it. I love the moment.
Round 2.
All right, number 2, you get a ticket to one of these events. Penn State's whiteout game or Michigan State v. Ohio State, otherwise known as the game.
I'd go the whiteout. There's something about a whiteout for me that in sports is, I don't know why I love it so much, but like I know the Jets do it during their obviously the Winnipeg Jets, not the New York Jets, because the New York Jets are allergic to making the playoffs. But when the Jets do it, particularly in the playoffs, I've always loved the whiteout. It is one of my favorite crowd moments in sports. And of course the Penn State one is more fun, I would suggest, because there's, obviously more people in there. It's iconic as hell. I love a whiteout. And I don't know why I've always loved the color. Well, I don't know if you call white a color or a shade, but I've loved white.
White is all the colors, Donovan.
So you're going whiteout.
I'm going whiteout.
Penn State football, Zombie Nation. Yeah, it'd be very cool. I'll go with what I think is probably the best rivalry we've got in college football, maybe in sport right now. Like trying to think of all the good rivalries right now. I think Michigan, Ohio State, just the hatred they have for each other. This rivalry goes back to 1897, boys. They hate each other. Even if your season sucks, like Michigan a couple of years ago, if you beat the opposition, it feels like a win. Obviously, they're bordering each other, so they've got that disdain for each other. If I could go to either of those events, I want Michigan, Ohio State. I want it to be a night game, though. I think that under the lights, it's always better. That's why tomorrow's going to be awesome down at Commonwealth. But without a doubt, two outstanding moments.
Final round.
All right. This is due to the 6th anniversary of half of this question. What is the funnier sports moment? Nick Castellanos' home run to left field as the announcer is apologizing for comments made on air and not knowing if he'll ever be back, or Ray Gun breakdancing at the Olympics, seemingly not knowing how to do it.
It's easily Tom Brenneman for me. Like what he said, coming back and knowing that he's going to have to apologize, and then doing it in just such a, like the tone he had, just it. And then for the home run to happen right at that moment, I mean, it was hilarious. I didn't find Reagan that funny. Like, it was so overdone. It got annoying after about 2 minutes on X. Everybody was using it. I think the funniest one was like when my toddler says, "Watch this," and then showed the video. I found that one funny. Then after that, I think it just got kind of lame. Also, if you go look at more of her routine, she does know how to breakdance. They just clipped those spots. So for me, it's the call.
I can't disagree with you, Connor. I've tried so hard to find a world where I find that funnier in my brain. I found it a little funny, the breakdancing, but the Nick Castellanos call, and we will play it in a second for those of you who haven't heard it, but it is genuinely, I think, outside of maybe Who Do You Think You Are, I Am, I think it's the funniest moment in sports.
Over on the mound. I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
And it continues to go on for a little bit longer. Yeah. But you guys get the message here, get the memo. That and Who Do You Think You Are, I Am. Those are neck and neck for my favorite sports moments, like comedy sports moments ever. And Nick Castellanos then continues his streak of hitting homers on unfortunate days. Oh,
like tragedy, celebrity deaths,
the
political
War Memorial
announcement.
one,
Yeah.
where they're doing the War Memorial statue thing in Philly as well. Unbelievable. But man, Nick Castellanos will always go down in history for that. And man, like that.
It's so hokey.
It's so
like
iconic.
Hollywood couldn't write it. I consider and pride myself as a man of faith. As Nick Castellanos, it's a ball deep to left field, and it's a home run.
That'll be a 4-0 game. I don't know if I'll ever be putting this microphone on again, this headset on again. Oh,
he was replaced
so good.
Very quickly, and then he did serve in was it Puerto Rico? He did some later broadcasting. And I think he was hired by the CW as well. So he is back and he is hosting a morning show. But the gig that he blew, man, first rule of radio, guys, always assume your mic's on. Broadcasting as well. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we are going to talk some NFL football as we continue our look around the NFL training camps. Today, we're going to head out to, I don't even know where officially it is, Jersey. We're going to talk some New York Giants with Daryl Slater of NJ Advanced Media, New Jersey Advanced Media, here on The Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
On the field, you need serious fuel, and there's only one MVP.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers The Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wednesday here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Go check them out. Tell them we sent you and enjoy, just like Jay and Victoria did. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, and young Connor the intern along for the ride today, as we are going to continue our look around the NFL. This segment brought to you by elksnation.ca. Of course, the 2 weekly podcasts, articles, and more breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca, as we head out to, well, New York, New Jersey, to talk a little New York Giants with Daryl Slater, covers the team for NJ.com. Daryl, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this. I know the team, I believe, made the trip down to South Beach, getting ready for that preseason game on the weekend here. Lots of questions about this team. New head coach, a couple interesting returning starters, and my co-host Donovan Paulson was just commenting on the wide receiver depth. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to start with the quarterback position. Last year, the team drafted Jackson Dart with the first round pick. Obviously, there were some flashes of a really good young player there. What have you seen from him in terms of growth going into year number 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an adjustment for him in his training camp, learning a new offense for the second straight summer, and this one's going to require him to play under center quite a bit more than he did last year and he did in college or in high school. So that's going to be an adjustment for him for sure, and it has been from a footwork perspective, from a rhythm perspective. And so, yeah, I would expect that could continue to be an issue for him early in the season. Now, you know, the one thing I think that he has shown progress in, and we'll see about this when games come around, is listening to this coaching staff that is imploring him to be smarter when it comes to recklessness or lack thereof with his feet when he runs. You know, get out of bounds. Don't lower your shoulder on first down and lead into a linebacker and do something silly like that. So I think he understands that, and you know, we'll see if he has, you know, some progress in that area come the season.
Daryl, when the team made the head coach hire for John Harbaugh, to me, it just felt safe. Like the safest hire maybe since Tom Coughlin way back in 2004. We know what he can do. He's won a Super Bowl in the past. What were your initial thoughts on the hire when it happened, and how have those changed, if at all, going into the preseason?
Yeah, I think in terms of changes, you know, more accountability. Brian Dable didn't hold this team accountable enough at all, and you've seen more of that. Now, you have to have good enough players, and so that's still a hurdle for them in a lot of areas. Harbaugh was never going to be able to overhaul this roster in one offseason, and yes, he does have final say. He's essentially the GM. Yeah, I think it was an obvious hire. And they went and paid him $100 million over 5 years, and the hire made a lot of sense for what they needed. They needed a proven head coach. One would happen to be available because he got let go by Baltimore, and of course the reason was he wasn't able to do enough with Lamar Jackson, never got to a Super Bowl with him. So there are certainly shortcomings on the Harbaugh resume, but he is the most accomplished coach they've ever hired. I mean, Tom Coughlin didn't win a Super Bowl until he got to the Giants. Harbaugh has a ring, and certainly the only proven head coach in any way that they've hired since Tom Coughlin, who did well in Jacksonville before he got the job.
So to jump over to this wide receiver room, Daryl, obviously Malik Neighbors is clear and obviously one of the best receivers in the NFL. But after Malik Neighbors, I think there's about 8 other guys who could probably play for this team this year. Is it this complicated? Is this convoluted? Who's maybe standing out in training camp? Because, like I said, 8 other guys I think could play.
Yeah, well, Darius Slayton was the incumbent in terms of the guy who was their outside receiver opposite Malik Neighbors. They go and trade up 31 in the draft and pick a kid out of Notre Dame, Malachi, who is a really good jump ball player. They really like him. They got him in the 3rd round. I think he could wind up replacing Slayton sooner rather than later. Fields has looked really good in this camp, so he's a guy I would absolutely keep an eye on as a potential week 1 starter. So he's one to look out for. I mean, Slayton could have a role, depending on what kind of hiccups Malachi Fields has. In the slot, there are some questions. They lost Wan'Dale Robinson, who was a really productive slot receiver for them. He signed with the Titans. And so the question there is, can Calvin Austin fill that void? But I think more likely, well, I didn't even use that word intentionally, but more probably Isaiah Likely. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. He, the new tight end from Baltimore, Harbaugh knows him super well. He will have a significant presence in the slot. This team's going to use a lot of 2 tight end looks. They're going to run a lot of power stuff. They're going to run the ball. So you're going to see a lot of Patrick Ricard, the fullback, another Baltimore buddy of Harbaugh's. You're going to see a lot of Cam Scadaboo, and they just got Najee Harris. So they're going to run the ball a bunch. And so I don't know how much 3 wide they're going to play, but you need someone to pull coverage away from Neighbors. There's no doubt about that. And I think this Malachi Fields kid is one to keep an eye on, no doubt.
So to stay in the wide receiver room, obviously they bring back franchise favorite, beloved Odell Beckham Jr. What is going to be his role this season? Or is it just going to be basically glorified, hey, hello, OBJ's back?
Well, he's got to make the team first. And so one hurdle was cleared when they released Juju Smith-Schuster, who is another, Beckham's a fading veteran. So is Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju was dealing with a knee thing. And so they couldn't get on the field really. So they cut him loose. The guy who is an interesting, person or, competitor, I guess, for Beckham in terms of that final roster spot would be Braxton Berrios, who has returner ability. So he can play on special teams. Odell Beckham doesn't play on special teams. The Giants, again, they're going to run the ball. So how many receivers are they going to keep? They're going to keep these guys, Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Malachi Fields, Darnell Mooney, who is an outside receiver or can play in the slot, and Calvin Austin. And so who's the 6th guy? And will they keep 7? And maybe that 6th guy is Berrios and not Beckham. But, Beckham's going to provide, if he makes the team, depth, some leadership. He is apparently a more mature guy than he was when he last played for the Giants 8 years ago. And so maybe the Giants will find out, or maybe this kind of nostalgia tour ends with him getting cut at the end of training camp.
And to jump over to the running back room, you mentioned Cam Scadaboo and Najee Harris, obviously. This is pretty deep running back room. How do you sense this one shaking out? Like, is Cam Scadaboo going to be a little bit more? He's going to be the lead dog here, we'd assume, but will he be as much of a lead dog as some might think?
I don't necessarily think he will. Maybe he will, but it's not a lock. I mean, he's only had less than half a season of flashing as a rookie. His skill set has certainly limitations. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been drafted, in the 4th round. Tenacious player, tough kid, a lot to like. Is he a number 1 back for a team that's going to run the ball a lot? You're not going to compare him to Derrick Henry because, no one is, right? But Harbaugh had that luxury in Baltimore. Now he's looking at a situation where, okay, he's got Scadaboo, he's got Najee Harris now, and Scadaboo's coming off the ankle. He has moved well. Serious ankle injury, has moved well. Najee Harris coming off a torn Achilles. And we'll see about how he moves, right? And he's got to get out there in games. Tyrone Tracy is a guy who, probably a little lower profile. We'll see what his role will be, but those would be the 3 guys. I think with the addition of Najee Harris, they'd like him to have a significant role, but physically, like, where is he at? I mean, he went all this offseason without getting signed, even though he was cleared a couple months ago. So a lot of questions there. And, you got your 2 main guys in this run-focused offense, and Scadaboo and Najee Harris, who are both coming off, ankle-type injuries.
We're going to look at the New York Giants with NJ.com's Daryl Slater here on The Frenzy. Halley and Paulson with you today. I know you had a report there on the rookie offensive lineman. There was a trade involving a veteran offensive lineman. What are your thoughts on that 5-man unit going forward for this team? Because, especially in that division, you've got to be able to block up front.
Yeah, so Francis Maui-Noah, CC, he goes by, he's the right guard. He played right tackle at Miami. He actually got a stinger today in the joint practice down in South Florida. I'm not there, but he got a stinger. We'll see how he comes out of that. There's a chance he's fine, and we'll be able to find for week 1. So he's their right guard. They bring back Jermaine Illuminor, right tackle. The question with Maui Noah is, they needed to solidify the interior line, and their center, John Michael Schmitz, has struggled. And the question with Maui Noah is, can he play right guard? He didn't really play it at all in college. He was the right tackle. Then they have John Runyon at left guard, returning player, solid but not spectacular. And then, of course, the guy who will make everything go on this offensive line if he stays healthy, and that's a big if, is Andrew Thomas, their left tackle, who's a superb player when he's healthy. Just has had some significant injury issues in recent seasons. So I think their line should be better and needs to be if they're going to be a bullying type team that runs the ball a lot. Their line was better last year than it's been. It's been a big issue for them in recent years, but it's upticking toward, certainly competence. They're not necessarily one of the best lines in the league, but I think, that's going to go a long way toward whatever type of success they can have offensively under John Harbaugh and Matt Nagy, the offensive coordinator.
Now, when you look on the defensive side, we know Dexter Lawrence was moved out to Cincinnati, but the team does draft Arvell Reese first round. You've got Shelby Harris coming over from Cleveland and DJ Reader, some big bodies at nose tackle from Detroit. Brian Burns, I think, was like 14th best in the NFL's top 100 poll earlier today. So lots of fun players to watch, along with Tremaine Edmonds. What is your outlook on this defense and maybe Abdul Carter going into year 2?
Yeah, I mean, their edge rushers and Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and to a lesser extent, Kayvon Thibodeau, that's a really skilled group. That's not a group they're going to have to worry about in terms of rushing the passer. We know they can do that, this defense. The bigger issue is stopping the run, and especially doing it with Dexter Lawrence gone. And so, so that interior line, what are they looking at there? DJ Reader, Shelby Harris, and Darius Alexander is a second-year pro who's had a nice camp. So they have to be able to stop the run, not just up front, but at the second level. So they, while letting, I guess they traded Dexter Lawrence. They essentially acquiesced to his trade demand. Got a haul for him in sending him to the Bengals. Got the pick that landed him Francis Maui Noah, the right guard. So the bigger thing is that they've done is really try to fix their second level at the linebacker group, and that would be Tremaine Edmonds, their new middle linebacker, comes in, replaces Bobby Okereke. They think he can be a big upgrade there in stopping the run. He better be. I mean, he's a hugely important player for this team. You think about all the Ravens' successful middle linebackers that they had over the years, Ray Lewis, Patrick Queen, those type of guys. Can Edmonds be that guy? We'll see. No one's going to expect him to be Ray Lewis, but so they need reliability there. And Reese is an interesting one in that he was regarded as an edge rusher, and he even said at the combine, "I'm an edge rusher." Coming out of college, Giants draft him. They say, okay, well, maybe you play there down the road, but we're going to have you be a weak side linebacker to start. They're going to have him do a lot of different things. He's a physical freak. They're really impressed with him. So I think he'll be a fascinating addition to this defense. But again, it starts with stopping the run. They got to stop the run better than they did last year. They were pitiful against it.
Yeah, absolutely. A crucial point is we're looking at the New York Giants here. Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm curious about him, but obviously taken very highly with what was it, the 4th or 5th pick out of Oregon a couple of years ago. And then, the team obviously going out there and adding more and more edge rushers. Is he getting that 5th-year rookie option? And if so, do you expect him to remain with the Giants long term?
Yeah, so they picked up his 5th-year option. It's guaranteed money. I think it's about $14 million. They picked that up last year. So in 2025, they pick it up for 2026. So they had to kind of lock that in last year. It was a no-brainer, I think, given that he'd been a pretty reliable player, not necessarily a superstar, but had done some good enough things to get that picked up. The bigger question this offseason was, would they trade him? Because remember, they have Brian Burns on a big contract. They have Abdul Carter, the number 3 pick last year, entering year 2, who's got a ton of potential. And they got to look at this and say, well, we're going to be paying Abdul Carter maybe coming up. Why would we pay Thibodeau? I'd be shocked if Thibodeau's with the Giants next year. The bigger, they didn't trade him this offseason. They didn't get a good enough offer for him. I think the offer peaked out in the 4th round type range. At least they get a 3rd or certainly a 2nd round pick offer for him. He's gone. And now what could necessitate that? That might be an injury elsewhere, by the midseason trading deadline. That could result in him being shipped out, or he leaves and they get a comp pick for him. But in the meantime, he'll have a role certainly on this defense.
Preseason game 2 for the Giants goes on Saturday, 2:00 Mountain Time, and then they'll wrap it up with a home game sort of taking on the Jets. For these 2 games, any players you'll be watching specifically, kind of bubble players that will need a good performance?
Odell Beckham is the big one. I mean, you're not going to find many more notable bubble players at this time of year for any team in any training camp, like in recent memory, than him. I mean, not just a former, it'd be different if he was going to, Cincinnati and trying to make the roster and keeping his career going as a former star. He's a former star with this team who's coming back, having left and been traded to the Browns under, divisive circumstances in 2019, coming out of the 2018 season. Obviously, a completely different regime now welcomes him back. And so can it be more than just a nostalgia story? Can he actually make the team and contribute? We know his best days are behind him, but I think that's a fascinating one. There is certainly others. What do they do in their secondary? I think more than necessarily who will make the roster, especially in the secondary, I get a lot of questions about who's going to start there at outside corner. They got 4 guys in Paulson Adebo and Greg Newsome, who were the presumptive starters, and then also throw in Colton Hood as second-round rookie, and to a lesser extent, Deonte Banks, who's kind of been a first-round bust. Those 4 guys are in the mix for the 2 outside corner spots. They lose Cordell Flott to the Titans, big loss, played well last year. They need better coverage, and losing Flott was a big loss in that. You look at their corner group, and it's sort of, there's a lot of questions there still. So, more so than necessarily, all those guys are going to make the team, but more so than that, it's, they got to figure out in these next couple weeks here who's going to start.
It's going to be awesome, Daryl. Looking forward to seeing what happens out in New York. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
There you go. That is Daryl Slater, covers the NFL and the Giants for NJ.com. You can give him a follow on X at Daryl Slater. Well, I hope Strutty was listening. I hope he's got some optimism. Yeah, but he nailed it there. For the longest time, we've looked at that Giants team and thought, man, those pass rushers, man, they can get after it. Losing Dexter Lawrence will be a big one, a big run stopper. I know Fenwick over there with the Bengals fandom is pretty happy for that. But it's going to be an interesting season. The Philadelphia Eagles, defensive line has always been their strength. The Giants have some questions there. So we'll see how it all unveils, how it falls out. Unravels, that's the one. I'm going to unravel on low tide.
Yeah.
He just walked in and gave us the
just
finger.
Classless.
Just rattled me. He's in my kitchen. Okay, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll tell you what's coming up on the Lowdown with Low Tide maybe, and the Jason Gregor Show. It is The Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Tom Gazzola weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton.
GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Missioner Island Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, dozer, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, man lifts, packers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas, tag team champions of sports know-it-alls on Sports 1440, presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
I should get his name. Jansen Dench. 11:43. Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Go check them out. Only available in Leduc or online at wilhockbeefjerky.com. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson. We got Josh Fenwick and young Connor, the intern, here as well as we about to wrap up our show. Now, coming up next, we have the Lowdown with Low Tide. What day is it today? Thursday. So we have Bagged Milk and Josh, who else? The new writer for The Athletic covering the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, Jansen, and apologies to him if I get your name wrong. Dwench, it's Duench. So there's a couple ways it could go. But I know his first name's Jansen.
He'll be on the show. Yeah,
he'll be on the
his name is
in studio at 12:40.
Covering the Oilers
Jansen.
now for the Athletic. So keep it locked here. Yeah, Janssen Dunch or something, and we'll have it totally butchered. But no fear. Low Tide will get it corrected, and then immediately he'll be a household name because another Edmonton Oilers reporter is always welcome, especially in this day and age. He'll be in studio as well. And then today on the Jason Greger Show, I'll be sitting in. We've got Dalton Wasserman from Preferred Walk On. He is a NFL and college reporter. I think Declan Kruger is going to be fired up for this one. So we'll talk a little NFL and college football. David Owens or Stephen Bazan. We'll see who shows up from Sherbrooke Liquor for Thirsty Thursday. We're going to have Sydney and Megan coming by from the Edmonton Elks cheer team. Talk a little bit about what they do on a day-to-day basis. We'll go in the room and hear some Elks audio. Colin Livingston will be by. Mark Spector. Try to get out to Winnipeg, talk some Bombers as well. So it'll be a busy day here on Sports 1440. And if you're wondering, like, where's Dave McCarthy been all week? He's going to join us tomorrow instead. So we'll have Ryan Payton tomorrow from Sirius XM NHL, and then Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. So we'll do some hockey talk tomorrow to set you into your weekend. Of course, surrounded by a lot of Elks talk as they get set to take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And during the Greger Show, we will also be giving away some tickets. MTR says Dart takes too many hits. Got blown up last week as well. That can be coached out of him, though, I believe.
I think he's just an idiot. Well, I don't know. Like, you watch his play, not with him with the ball. When he's running, I completely agree. Like, he takes too many hits. He takes unnecessary risks when he has the ball in his hands. And then we're not going to get into the other potential areas where he's an idiot, but I think he's just an idiot.
If you complete passes and win games by doing that, you're a warrior. You're a leader.
Yes.
If you lose games, you're an idiot. I thought he was okay last year.
Like, he was good when he played.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. He brings the swag. He had some good games. I thought he did okay, like taking care of the football as well. I think that'll be better with a more stable run game under Harbaugh. I mean, I'm intrigued to see what happens with him. We did a text here. This is the first time I agree with Donnie. There you go, Triple C in a truck.
I know that's not true because I've commented on,
because you both love AJ Brown.
Yeah, we both love AJ Brown. It's so funny how he turned on AJ Brown.
I think, that's what happened.
He got traded. I wonder why.
You mess with the loyalty. Mark texting in, hey guys, what do you think of my team? Okay, he's got Jaden Daniels. Well, I don't like him in his camp, but as a fantasy player, not bad. Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs. Is it PPR? Because then I like Chase Brown even more. I like CeeDee Lamb. I like Emeka Egbuka. I like Fannin Jr., but I'm not loving his quarterback situation. Chuba Hubbard is one I'm a little weary of. I'm hoping for him. Santos, and then the Steelers defense. And then on the bench, you've got Odunze, Monungai, Wilson, Myers, Rodriguez, Spears. I actually really like your bench, though.
So who is this again?
This is Mark. It's his team.
Mark? God.
So I like Rome Odunze. I would be a big fan of him. I might even have him in my starting lineup. Probably not Monungai yet, but in the future, potentially. Wilson, last year, I thought he was wide receiver 1 for the Cards, even with Marvin Harrison. That being said, pass catcher number 2, because you're going to have Trey. Jacoby Myers was really good with the Jags last year. Another offseason shouldn't hurt that. So I like this team.
Damn, Mark.
I want to trade my Steelers defense and Wilson for Seahawks defense and Kincaid.
That's about as solid of a team as you're ever going to see texted into the show.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you can trade the Steelers for the Seahawks, I'd be all over it. You lose Wilson, but that'd be okay. I think your receiver depth is good. And Wilson, who knows? Maybe there is a bit of a shift there and Marvin Harrison takes over as a wide receiver 1, so I do not mind it. Jesse says, Hampton or Kenneth Walker if you had to choose PPR. I'll let Donnie answer this one.
Hampton or Kenneth Walker? Ooh. I might lean Hampton. Ever so slightly.
I feel like my answer will be misconstrued as a bias.
Yours, yeah, I get why you're dipping out on this one, but my thing with Kenneth Walker is I don't know how much I believe in the Chiefs this year. Like I think they're going to miss the playoffs again. Now, I think they're basically the same. This would be like I would poll a lot of different people. I think I lean Hampton, but it is so marginal. This is one where I might want to do a poll of the people closest to me and see what else they think, because it's so close to me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I just believe that Omarion Hampton with his Mike McDaniel offense is going to be special. I think it's going to be a really good group. But that being said, I think Kenneth Walker would be solid. I don't think there's a bad pick.
I don't either. I think they're both great picks.
You could have some concern of injury for Hampton just because 1 year pro, he's missed some time with injury. But at the same time, Kenneth Walker has 2. But yeah, both should be bell cow. Mike McDaniel has said he'll be going with the hot hand. Now, I just wanted to check here. MTR called Marvin Harrison. Said he'd be good if he didn't have frying pans for hands. Marvin Harrison, if I'm looking correctly here, last season isn't even top 25 in drops. Do you know who had the most drops last year?
I know for the majority of the season it was Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know if it's finished.
Tied for second.
Oh, okay.
Jameson Williams surpassed him with 12. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 10. Jared Goff getting no help. Maybe he doesn't throw a catchable ball. Jerry Jeudy also had 10. And then, like you said, BTJ 10 as well. So Evan Ingram and Cortland Sutton both with 8 each. That's good for 6th spot. Maybe Bo Nix doesn't have a catchable ball either.
Where would you since Marv gets mentioned by MTR, where would you feel comfortable taking him this year? I'm actually so curious because I don't feel comfortable taking him above like round 8.
I kind of am with you just because I think Trey McBride is going to get so many more looks. He's proven to be reliable, as has Wilson. Your quarterback play, this is one where I'm with you. I'm like, quarterback play might weigh into this one. And also, like, he just dropped off so much last year in terms of production.
Yes.
Like, obviously, there was injuries. He only played in 12 games, so that's going to impact it as well. But you go through his game log. He had 2 big games. What defines big, I suppose? If you said over 60 yards, he had 3 big games. He never cracked the 100-yard mark, which, looking at him as a prospect coming out of college, I never would have thought that. Like, yeah, he'll do that a couple times a year. He did get to 98. He got to 96. In those games, 1 touchdown. So his best game was 7 receptions, 96 yards, and a score. Yeah, to me, like, if you're in a team with 3 receivers, maybe he's my wide receiver 3. I'd like to do better than that.
He just scares the hell out of me because I think his ADP is like round 7, end of round 6, middle-ish of round 7. And he scares the hell out of me. Because like, it's so weird to trust Michael Wilson so much infinitely more, but I just trust Michael Wilson so much more. Michael Wilson, while it's been like a minor rise in terms of his, I guess, fantasy standings, he's just like, he's shown it for longer than Marv has. And it was 6 weeks of good Michael Wilson?
Well,
7?
Do we hold that 60-yard mark for him? He had 99 in a touchdown, 89 in a touchdown, 52 touchdown, 54 in a touchdown, 142 on 11 receptions and 2 touchdowns, then 118, 185, 61. So it was a really good first half to the season. And I'm wondering if that correlates with any injuries at the quarterback position or with that team. But he's more reliable. I think that's something that definitely goes in his favor. To me, though, I look at Marvin Harrison, Donovan, and like I've told you before, I had Kyle Pitts for years, and I had to finally just say I can't do it. Before that, it was David Njoku. Both those guys, I moved on before they really peaked. I feel like that's going to be someone out there who's like, I have to get Marvin Harrison. This is the year.
100%. That's going to be a lot of people out there. They're not going to be willing to dip off the Marvin Harrison bandwagon. I am actually still convinced he could be a good player. I just think it's going to take a different team.
Yeah. Maybe a different quarterback, maybe a better system.
Yes. Oh, of course.
A fresh start.
Of course. He needs that guy in terms of, we talk about like players needing a fresh start. For me in sports, I think numbers 1 and 2, in my opinion, Elias Pettersson and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if Pettersson's the guy, you hope that the Canucks would retain some salary. Lance says, how many Raiders is acceptable to draft this year? Well, if it's a dynasty league, obviously you want to get that quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. I would go 3. I think Ashton Genty, obviously. Brock Bowers is tight end 2 at the worst. And then I think I'm okay with Trey Tucker. But that would be it for me. And I wouldn't be thrilled. Like Tucker would be a depth player, but I'd be starting Genty or Bowers. So 2 for sure. Is there anyone else you'd consider, Donovan?
I think it's acceptable to draft 3. It's Trey Tucker, it is Bowers, and obviously Genty.
If I wanted a deep sleeper, maybe Jack Besh.
Yeah, maybe, but it depends on how deep your draft is, how many people you got in there. I think Trey Tucker, though, I'd feel okay if he was one of my bench wide receivers. But like if you're thinking about starting like four Raiders or wanting to start 3 Raiders, I would seriously rethink your draft strategy.
I had a friend who did that last year. It didn't work out well. Nicky Northside says tight end 1 will be Colston Loveland. Could be.
Honestly, could see it.
I think there's like 4 or 5 guys. The other one would be Warren out of Indy. Had the injury, but he's only expected to miss a few weeks. So, yeah, I think there's 4 or 5 candidates for tight end 1 this year, and Colston Loveland would be a very good option, and you might be able to get him later on. Maybe he falls down a little bit. We'll take a 23-hour break. Back tomorrow to do it all over again. Up next, it is the Lowdown with Lowtide, followed by the Jason Greger Show. But right now, let's get to a Sports 1440 update with Donovan Paulson, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
1440 update.
The Jays currently in action, just ended the third inning, up 1-0 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Shane Bieber is, of course, starting for Toronto. Other games underway around the majors. The Guards up 3-0 on the Giants. The Cardinals blanking the Reds 4-0 in the top of the fifth. Other games getting underway. You got a trio in the Brewers and Mariners, Royals and Athletics, and the Braves are in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Those games all get underway in about 15 minutes time. Rangers, they're hosting the Nationals. The Astros, they clash with the Angels. Of course, you got your NFL preseason, then a couple NFL deals. Vita Vea, he stays with the Bucks on a 1-year, $30 million deal. Taylor Rapp, he is off to Denver. Max Verstappen, he's extended with Red Bull through 2030. Coming up, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your sports 1440 update.